to Footy First here on TSN 1050. Nick McVicker, York United keeper, Nico Giantsopoulos with you. And Nico, we're very lucky now. We teased it on the other side. We are now joined by the brand new head coach of the brand new CPL club, Vancouver FC. Afshin Ghotbi is on the phone. Afshin, how you doing today?
I'm doing very well, and I'm so happy to be with you and your audience, and I'm thrilled to be in Vancouver in Canada.
Well, it's a big time right now out in Vancouver, obviously the new club. You've been all over the world managing, working with soccer clubs. How did you end up in all places Vancouver?
Well, Vancouver has been really on my bucket list for my wife, and we've always heard so many wonderful things about how beautiful Vancouver is. That's first and foremost really important to share with you. Football is kind of a small world, and the owner of Vancouver FC, as you may know him, Mr. Rob Friend, one of the icons of Canadian football, was playing in Germany at the time. I was coaching in the J League in Japan, and I was looking for a center striker, and one of my scout friends in Europe told me that I had to see Rob Friend play. It was the perfect solution for our problems inside the danger area. So I looked at the videos of Rob, and I was so impressed with how good he was in the air and how good he was in the 60-meter box. So I contacted him, and I tried to do everything possible to bring him to my club in 2012. So basically almost 10 years ago. And I really liked his personality, and I really got to like him over time. Unfortunately, the football gods or soccer gods didn't make it happen for us, and we didn't get a chance to have him in our club. But the relationship grew and our friendship grew, and over the years, we were always in communication. I was so impressed with what he did at Pacific FC and what they built, and I was so impressed with what was happening in Canadian football. As we all can see around the world, the Canadian players are doing extremely well in Europe. The level of Canadian Premier League is growing and improving, and I saw some wonderful football out of Canadian League this past year. So Rob explained to me about his project. I was taking a family sabbatical after really struggling with the COVID period in China. I was in the Chinese Super League and working in China. So this project, building a team from ground zero, really was intriguing and exciting to me, especially in the city of Vancouver, and doing it with someone that I care about and I trust and I respect, like Rob Friend. And the final nail was for me the fact that it's within several hours from my father, who's aging, and my family, who I've not seen for so long, chasing my dream and my passion around the world, coaching soccer. So everything was perfect. Timing, the people involved, the project, and really where football is in Canada. Canadian national team being in the World Cup after 30-some plus years, and the World Cup coming in 2026 to Canada. So I think this is the place to be.
And it's almost like destiny, all the stars aligned for you to get this job happening. It's great to hear, but I've heard you say in other interviews that you did when the announcement happened, and you're speaking to KJ about it, and you're talking about Rob Friend and the ownership group, and you always say vision. What is it that makes their vision so unique, and you think it's different, maybe compared to the other CPL owners?
I think myself as an Iranian American, chasing my passion to have to work from country to country, continent to continent. You leave your family, you leave your comfort zone, and you go after your dream. And it's such a struggle day in and day out. You have to fight with all your might to prove yourself, to get success, to get results, to keep your job, and to keep improving yourself at your profession. And I think Rob went through the same. Rob and Josh together as Canadian players, they literally had to go to European countries, and for anyone that has to leave their family and work in very difficult situations and to be successful and to sustain their level of performance, to keep their job, they can probably appreciate that. And I think Rob and the ownership group and myself, we want to really create a pathway for young, talented players in North America that can, by having a platform to develop themselves, to improve their performances so they can get an opportunity to play in the highest level in Europe. I think it's a great to be part of that project. And 20 plus years ago, that was not norm. It was not possible. It was very difficult. And that's why a lot of people get discouraged and they give up on their dream. So we want to make that a little bit easier for them. So that, I think, is a great vision to have, to give back to the sport, develop a platform that you can improve the talent and help in the development of the game and development of the players in North America.
Is it fair to say now that you're almost, I know you're new to it, but you're now a fan of Canada soccer and everything that's going on here?
Well, more importantly, I think, of course, I've had the pleasure of sometimes meeting Canadians around the world, and it's always been very nice. But to be in Canada, I've been here for 48 hours, and to see how hospitable and kind, how open they are, and they have the perfect balance of the European influence and American influence. So for us, for me personally, it's really refreshing to be here, and so I love the Canadian people. Vancouver is a beautiful city, and the Canadian League, and I share this story. Most of the Canadian, the budget for the Canadian League, if you add all the salaries for the players, it's basically maybe less than what a foreign player in a Chinese Super League in the past. So to have this kind of a high level of football with such a small salary is really special. It's fantastic. So that's why I really think the model, the business model that has been created for Canadian Premier League is sustainable. It's going to help the sport grow. It's going to encourage business ventures to come in and invest in the sport, and that's what it takes to grow a sport in a country like Canada, as we've seen in MLS. So I'm excited to be part of it.
In conversation with Afshin Ghotbi from Vancouver FC, the brand new head coach of Vancouver FC, and Afshin, you just said it. You've only been here for 48 hours on the ground with the club. What's kind of the first steps that you guys are partaking in right now to get everything sorted, to get everything ready to start going out and signing players and getting all the sponsorships that you need to put the team on the field at the beginning of next year?
When Rob and the ownership decided to hire me as the head coach, and it happened several weeks ago, and of course the announcement was yesterday, already I was given a list of 43 players that were free agents in Canadian Premier League. So I've been watching a lot of games and footage of all the players, and obviously I have a certain style of football that I really like to play, and we want to create a team that really represents the DNA of this city. It represents the demographics of this city. It brings the spirit that we're looking for on the field so that the fans can connect to them. So we've been trying to identify and target the players that we can go after. We're also looking for a certain age group of players that have a lot to play for and have a chance to develop themselves with us and move on to the top leagues in Europe. So I think we've done a really good job of targeting the players we want, and we are in contact with their agents and trying to see if we can get them to buy into our project and join us.
So for a team for a team that's going to play for you, what's the identity that you want your team to kind of be playing on the field?
Well, I think first and foremost, you must have players that have the DNA of Vancouver. I think Vancouver is a very sophisticated global city. So we want players that have the spirit to win and to fight day in and day out. We're looking for players that have the football IQ, and intelligence to solve problems on the field. And we want players that are very skillful and technical so they can execute the decisions they can take. And I always follow a very simple model when I look for players. First and foremost, talent. Secondly, we're looking for character. And thirdly, we're looking for players with ambition. So If you have two of the three, you have a chance. But if you have less than two of the three, you basically, in my opinion, don't have a chance to make it at the highest level in the sport. So if you have three of the three, then we think that you have a big chance to go to the highest level of the game. So we're looking for those kind of players. And I think in Canada there are many hidden gems. There are many fantastic players that either didn't have their opportunities or haven't given the chance to show their qualities on the soccer field at a high level. So we're hoping to find some of them also. And regardless if they're young, regardless if they are from various ethnic groups, it doesn't matter. It just matters that they share a little bit of passion for the game and their desire to be successful.
One thing I noticed when I was looking through your history as a manager and an assistant manager is the fact that your teams don't give up many goals. Is that something that you pride yourself on as a manager, or is that something that is just a byproduct of the culture that you end up trying to build at these clubs?
Well, I think I've always believed, even though I was myself personally an attacking player, and I love attacking football, I think basically professional football is about winning and entertainment. But to win games, you have to first and foremost build a great defensive structure and organization. So a team that can defend from every position and a team that can attack from every position, but most importantly to keep balance. And keeping balance meaning when you are attacking, you keep a certain numbers behind the ball in very intelligent positions. So when the ball is lost, they're there for the rebound. They're there to shut down the counterattacks. And the swift reactions after losing and winning the ball has always been very important to me because if you are quick in after losing the ball, getting yourself in positions to stop the attack, then you minimize a lot of goals that you take. If you are quick the moment you win the ball and get players forward and with the fewest passes getting in danger areas, you're able to create easier chances to score, and that's when most goals are scored within 3 passes. Teams get in attacking third and get chances in front of the goal. And being really sharp in dead ball situations because also those are the phases that a lot of goals are taken. Football is an incredible sport because you can do everything right. You can have the process that is absolutely perfect, but still the results don't come because it's just a game of moments. And it's a game of moments when somebody is not focused, they're concentrated, goals can be taken and games can be lost. So win, loss, or draw, what I think really leaves a legacy is the vision, it's the way that you play, it's the attitude you bring to the field, and I think that's what really attracts people to certain projects and certain teams, and I think wins fans. And this game really is one of the few things that connects the world. And Vancouver, with such a diverse ethnic groups in the city, and I hope that Vancouver FC can be the connector that can bring the city united and get them to feel as one.
That's beautifully said. And I think another, interesting point of view, I guess, for an expansion side coming into this league is not only, and we've spoken about all the job opportunities and for professional players here in the country, but another side of it is now there's a new professional team in the area, and there's a lot of aspiring professional coaches in the area that, are now gonna, are probably just excited that there's new opportunities in the area that they're working in. Have you gotten a chance, again, 48 hours in the country, Canadians are hospitable, but I don't know if they're that quick to do it, but have you gotten a chance, or do you want to at least get into the community of the local coaches in the area and just get a feel of what what Vancouver local soccer is all about?
Well, it's so interesting you asked that because from basically 9 in the morning until 1 o'clock, we had meetings with young Canadian coaches that are interested to join the project and work with me. And to be honest, I'm at the phase in my career. I'm 58 years old, so maybe if I'm lucky, I have 12 plus years left in my career as a manager. I really want to give as much back and mentor as many young coaches as I can. I've gained so much experience in the last 35 years in this job, working in 7 countries. And there are things that you can read in a book. There are things you can watch in videos. There are things you can learn in a coaching course. But experience it firsthand, and having those real moments as a manager where you make mistakes and you win or lose games, those are invaluable. And I think to share those with younger coaches can really help them develop themselves as the next future managers and coaches in a country like Canada. And maybe a player can play the game, but a coach can really create a generation of players. So I think they're a really important part of the development of the game.
No, it's great to hear, and I'm sure a lot of young coaches, like you said, that are probably blowing up your phone right now to work with you are extremely appreciative that you're not a Canadian, but you're coming here, but you're willing to kind of share the knowledge that you've gained throughout your journey. I think it means a lot, and Canadian people that are in the game and they've been in the game for a long time. I think when people outsiders come into the Canada soccer scene and they're willing to share their knowledge. I think Canadians are just really appreciative, and we want to learn. We have that sponge mentality in us that we want to get better in this game because, again, clearly there's a passion for the game in this country.
What I wanted to also share with you is that as much as we want to teach and share our experiences, believe me, even at my age, every day I'm learning. I always feel like you have to be the student of life and a student of the game. And when you stop learning, that's when you have to stop coaching and stop teaching. I think learning is a very important process. I'm a pioneer in many parts of the game, from technology, using technology and analysis, using metrics and data to improve players, using every tool that is available to try to make better training and better exercises to speed the process of developing a player, developing a human being. And I really, what's inspired me about coaching from age 14 when I started coaching little children, and I had an opportunity because I got a degree in electrical engineering from UCLA that I could have been an engineer, and I took a coaching path because I felt I can change lives. I can use the sport as a vehicle to help the people around me and the environment around me. And I've seen it. I've seen how a game in Korean national team, finishing fourth in the world, what it did to a country, how it united them, how it gave them confidence. We saw the Korean economy grew. We saw Korean companies become more globalized and international after the World Cup 2002. And I've had a series of those experiences. In Japan, the tsunami hit. Our team had to stop. It was my first season in the J League. And when the earthquake hit and the tsunami hit and 20+ thousand passed, how football tried to unite and give people hope. That's the power of this game. And I think the World Cup in Qatar, and I think the World Cup in 2026 will do the same for Canada. And I'm hoping Canadian Premier League can be a vehicle for that.
No, wonderfully said. Well, Coach, before we get you off, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I look forward to competing against you next season as I play for York United. But, on behalf of the players here, welcome to the league, and looking forward to going at it next season.
Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to share my story and talk about the game, and I wish everyone great luck. Thank you very much for having me as your guest.
Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll get you back on before maybe the start of next season once you get your team kind of put together and see how things are going.
Right before he's playing York United, we'll get you on and we could talk some trash.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Afshin Ghotbi from Vancouver FC, the brand new head coach of the brand new club. We're going to take a break. On the other side, we're going to look at the brand new club a little bit more and maybe talk a little bit about what we expect for next season. All that and more right here on Footy First.